Welcome to the Mother-Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today.
Hey mothers and daughters, today I want to talk to you about something that you might want to consider for 2024 since it's coming up. Think about an international driving permit. Now, who am I talking to? Of course, I'm talking to you mothers and daughters, but I'm talking to those that love to travel, those that like to do activities and excursions when they travel, those that when they are out traveling, they have to maybe rent a car, use a utility vehicle or ATV, something like that. Listen, there are places you will go in life and you can only use utility vehicles, golf carts, or things like that. So think about international driver's license. As you can see on the screen, I have my international driving permit. I got it in October. The reason I got it in October because I was going to a country that no matter if you have a passport or a regular driver's license from your country, you still have to have an international driver permit. I'll give you a list of the places that welcome them, and I'll tell you where to get them, what's the purpose of them, other places you can get them as well. I happen to be a long-time AAA member, so I just went into my AAA office and got mine there. But when you start thinking about international driver's permit, it's a great translation from one country to another to let them know that your driver's license that you have is a valid one where you are, because people can get other forms of ID without having an actual valid driver's license, but that will help you with that, and it can especially help you as far as like the different languages in other countries, because if they see that permit, then they understand, okay, they took the next step to do that. It's good for global recognition. For example, if you go to Japan and you want to do the Mario golf carts, you have to have an international driver's permit. I took my son to Japan in 2018 and we went to go drive the golf cars, but they were all sold out, and we saw on there, if you don't have an international driver permit, no other ID or form of ID was going to do. It was mandatory. So also, again, like I said, it's proof of driving eligibility that you can drive anywhere you are. So just think about that, and it's a great way to communicate with the people that are in these other countries, because the international driver permit it's not a standalone automobile authority for you to just drive anywhere, but it's for those countries that are mandating it. Now I go to Mexico, I drive ATVs and dune buggies and all that stuff, and nobody's ever even asked me for my regular ID. Let me tell you, I just went on a trip to Cozumel and we rode the dune buggy. I drove the dune buggy the whole 4 or 5 hours. They never asked for my ID or anything, but I think it's because they figure if you're in this country, you had to have a passport, so we don't need to see it. So that's kind of funny that they didn't ask for my authorization to be able to do that, which, I was cool with it because I've been to Mexico so many times and driven so many ATVs and all of that, so it didn't bother me at all. But I do want to tell you that when you go to get it, let me just tell you this. I've been with AAA for nearly a decade. Not one time did they ever tell me that they could do this, which I felt like is a disservice to me as a customer, because you send me information about how to join their travel club because they can set up your travel for me. They send me information about how to get better car and house insurance. But the fact that they didn't send me anything about this was just kind of shocking to me. So I said I was going to tell you where you could get your international driver permit. Again, you can get it from AAA, which is the American Automobile Association. If you are not, ladies, listen, I'm going to just say this. Nope, they're not an advertiser yet or anything like that. They may be in the future, I'm hoping. But listen, if you are not with AAA, and let's just say as an adult you don't want it, but let's just think about if you have children that are driving, whatever age they start driving, 16, 17, 18, listen, if they have a flat tire, if they run out of gas, and yes, they still do that, if the battery goes dead, if the windows get busted out and something gets broken on the inside of the car that it needs to be towed, listen, get your kids AAA. If you don't want it, get it for them. I remember when I first got my AAA, to add my kids on just cost me $10. They do specials all the time. The other place you can get it, of course, if you're in the United Kingdom, you can apply straight through the AA, which is the Automobile Association. So we have AAA, they have AA, or you can go through the Royal Automotive Club, which is RAC. I'm so glad I have AAA because I didn't have to try to figure out what all those other letters were to try to get this done. Now, I'll just give you a few places. Oh, by the way, if you go through AAA, it only costs with tax and everything. It was $41. So no, the total was actually $30.83. So I gave them $41, and so cash I gave her $41, and she gave me $10.17 back. Okay, the reason we did that is because we were trying to round up. But let me tell you something. If you don't have AAA, if for no other reason than the fact that you want to get this international, like you get on your permit, you have all of your pertinent information. You have your actual international driver permit number. So I have an international permit number. So where I have all my little numbers, I have, okay, my driver's license number, I have my international driver permit, I have my passport number, all those numbers that, just in case I forget, I will have those numbers to remember what they are. But I just wanted to mention this to you for a few reasons. When you go to another country or to other countries, just know that playing by their rules is going to be so much better for you than to get over to a place and argue, dispute, say we do it like this in my country, blah, blah, blah. When you go there, you play by their rules. I know no other languages other than the language that I'm barely speaking right now, okay? Now, when I go to Mexico, because I've been there more than any other place more than once, I've been there many, 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 many times. I've been going to Mexico since I was 19 years old. So I've been going and going and going. And within the last 5 years, I've been going multiple times a year. I've learned a few words that get me through, or a good enough understanding that I make friends and can communicate and never have felt unsafe around anybody when they're speaking their language and I'm speaking mine. So never had that kind of problem. But just know when you go to other countries, they do have certain rules. For example, I just was on a 30-day trip back in October, November. And in some places that I went to, and you'll see all the videos on that because I'm uploading all of those anyway. But I was just in a place where my money was no good. Even in Mexico, when you go there, they have billboards up that says, please use pesos. I'll give you the reasoning why, and I'll talk about Mexico just because I've been there more than any other place, which puts me on to not doing this to people in other countries when I'm in their place. But in Mexico, let's just say I go to Cancun. Cancun is a big touristy city. People in the jungles of Mexico don't even consider Cancun a part of Mexico. They just think, oh, that's just the touristy part, okay? Let's just say you're just landing in Cancun because that's where the big international airport is. You're going to get your hotel in the hotel zone or wherever you want to get it. I like to stay in the hotel zone or at the Renaissance Marina. You get your hotel, and let's just say you decide you're going to catch a ferry and you're going to go over the whole box. You're going to go over to Valladolid. You're going to go, you can drive there actually. You're going to go over to Cozumel. You're going to go over to any other little island. And they have wonderful, beautiful islands. Mosquito Island, all those places. Mosquito Island. And no, I didn't feel any mosquitoes over there. If you go to those little islands, they don't have a way to get back to the big city to exchange your money. Okay? Some of the islands you will see that there's going to be a money exchange, but you're going to lose out on your dollar. Give you a perfect example. Last month when I was in Mexico, we island hopped every other day. We landed in Cancun. From Cancun, we went over to Cozumel the next day. The next day, we went over to Valladolid. We drove. The next day, we went over to Holbox. We took a ferry. The next day, we went over to other places, okay? When I tell you, I made sure I had pesos because I know the deal. Yeah, I had cash money, and if they would take it, I would give it, but They wanted that, but there were places that we went that had ATMs, but you're going to lose out. For example, you could exchange your money in the big city for 19 on the dollar, okay? But then you get down into some of those other places and they basically charge you for it because you're getting 17. We went down to Tulum. It was 17.50. The very next day we went to another city and it was only 17. So I know 50 cents to you on every dollar is not a big deal, but for me it is. You know, it's like I want to get bang for my buck just like the next person. So what I'm saying to you is when you get to Cancun, if you want to exchange your money, get the money exchanged in the big city. Don't wait till you go to the little small places. And yeah, you can use a credit card, but you're going to pay for it. Okay, you're going to pay extra for it. And then too, I'm a person who doesn't like to use credit cards anyway. I like to pay for it and forget about it. I don't want to see it pop up on something digital or my bank statement, you know, or something. I don't need to see that. So I don't like to use credit cards simply because I like to set it and forget it type of thing, pay for it and forget it. Another thing I want you to just consider is that if you decide to do any activities in the places that you go to, excursions or whatever that involve a vehicle, a utility vehicle, a all-terrain vehicle, some places are going to mandate that you have an international driver permit. I'm going to go through the list of where you can use this at. Now, I'm not going to go through all 200-300 of them, but just to name some of the ones that you and I would probably be able to recognize. So, if you are from a different country, you'll need one in Afghanistan. And somebody told me I'm saying that wrong, that it's actually Afghanistan because it's AFGH. So, in Afghanistan, you're going to need it in Algeria. I'm skipping over like every 3 other countries. I'm going to skip over them. You need it in Angola. You need it in Argentina. I guess I'm going to name all the places that I'll probably end up going. You need it in Aruba. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know because I'll be going there next year. Well, 2025, I think. You need it in Australia. You need it in Bahrain. Michael Jackson used to like to go there. You need it in Bangladesh. You need it in Benin, Belize. Oh, wow. You need it in Brunei. Okay. You need it in Cambodia, which I just came from near that way. And where in Cambodia, it has 3 stars next to it. I think that means you really, really, really gonna need it. There's no exceptions. In Japan, there's no exceptions. I mean, there's no, but hey, I have a permit, or hey, I have a driver's license from Texas. They don't care. Okay? You'll need it if you go to Chad. That's in Africa, and I want to go there because they have something that I would really like to explore. You need it in the Cayman Islands, which makes no sense to me because the Bahamas areas is the United States of America, but whatever. You need it in the Central African Republic. You need it in Chile. You need it in the Republic of the Congo. You need it in Costa Rica. That's good to know because I'll be going there in March. You need it in Croatia, Cuba. You need it in Denmark. I love this name. You need it in Djibouti. It's Dijbouti, but I think it's called Djibouti, not Djibouti. Kind of like Django. It was just Django. So I think you need it in Djibouti. You need it in the Dominican Republic. You need it in Egypt, El Salvador. And a lot of these have double stars next to them. You need it in Fiji, Finland. France takes it. And I guess I won't say you need it here. What I'm saying is that it's recognized and you can use it in these places. I better clarify that and say that just to be a little more clear. You need it in Gambia. You need it in Georgia. And no, I'm not talking about Atlanta or Savannah. I'm not talking about the Georgia in the United States. There's a little island named Georgia. Matter of fact, if you travel, you will see that a lot of the places that we have in the U.S., they have names for some of those places over in other countries as well. I just saw that in Southeast Asia. You need it for Germany. You need it for Grenada, which is an American territory. You need it in Guadalupe. You need it in Guatemala. I just came back from there in September. You need it in Guinea. You need it in Haiti will take it. That's on my bucket list. You need it in Hong Kong. Just came back from there. You need it in Hungary, Iceland, India, Indonesia. Been there in 2015. You need it in Iran and Ireland. You need it in Israel, Italy, and Jamaica. They'll accept it. Okay? Japan, we just talked about that. Again, I'm planting this little seed. If you go to Japan, make sure you do the Mario Kart go-karts. You get to do it on the street. You get to do it with the group. You get to do it in fun. You get to kind of race a little bit and have some fun. We didn't get to do it again, like I say, but I've done it in other places. But we did get to see the group go out, and we did get to go to the street and watch them have so much fun. So it was really cool to experience just other people having fun, because I am one of those people, I can really be happy for other people. It's like, yes, can't wait to do it on my own. So I'm going to go back to Japan at some point, and I'll make sure that I do it. You need it in Kazakhstan. You need it in South Korea. That's on my bucket list, to go to South Korea. You need it in Kuwait. Okay. You need it in Lebanon. You need it in Liberia accepts it. Macedonia accepts it. Madagascar accepts it. Malaysia accepts it. I've been to Malaysia. Mexico accepts it. They don't mandate it, but they accept it. Mongolia, and it could be other parts of it that, it would be mandated, just none of the places. Montenegro, that's in Europe, Eastern Europe. You need it in Morocco and in Mozambique. It's accepted in Nigeria, Namibia, Nepal, accepted in the Netherlands. Listen, when you get the international, like, I'm going to go down the last little list over here. I'm going to start at the bottom. Zimbabwe, Zambia, United Kingdom, United Arab, that's in Dubai, Togo, Thailand, Syria. Listen, one thing I just can't stand is when people go and they do all of these wonderful things and then they don't tell you what the requirements are. Like, let's just start here. Some requirements are going to depend on your weight. Some requirements are going to depend on your height. Some requirements in other countries are going to depend on your passport, or your documents, I should say. Some requirements are going to depend on how much money you have. I could tell you story after story after story, or things that I've experienced that I didn't know until I got there, and now it's like I know better not to do certain things. But again, it's called an international driver permit. I got it from AAA. On mine it says United States of America International Motor Traffic, so I can drive in any of those countries. Plus, again, there's over 200-300 on the list, places that I can drive with my international permit. I received mine on October the 31st, 2023, and I did not even know that it was a thing, and I've been a member of AAA for a long time, so I kind of felt like maybe I missed out on something because nobody told me anything about this international permit that I needed. Just, when you're a traveler like me, you want to know everything that you can possibly get that's going to pertain to, giving you the non-hassle or whatever. For example, in Mexico, and I'm just talking about them because I've been there the most, 90% of the rental car places no longer allow you to have an easy rental experience. You probably say, Dawn, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is, if you don't have a major credit card, and I'm not even talking about your little debit card, I don't care if you got $20 million on it. If you don't have a major credit card, most places now, you can't even rent from. Okay? And this is not just Mexico. I experienced this in Miami 3 years ago, Miami. So the way it's working now is, if you don't have if you don't have a major credit card, you cannot rent a car because of the deposit issue they've had. So it just takes one apple to ruin the bunch. So that's a rule that a lot of people don't even understand. You can book it online. There's no fine print, there's no warning, there's no phone call, there's no email that says, oh, by the way, we're going to need you to use your major credit card and we don't accept debit cards. And if you do use your debit card, we're going to hold $16,000. Okay? Or we're going to hold $1,600, or we're going to hold whatever. And then they'll tell you they're going to release it the same day. And my experience was that if I had not have called the rental car place in Miami 2 weeks later, after I kept noticing my money wasn't returned within a day or 3 days and 5 days, 7 days, 2 weeks, I called them and within 24 hours they released it. But if I had not called, when was my money ever? And that was $750 I had to leave there. So just imagine you put yourself in this situation that you travel, you have your debit card, you have $2,000 on it, you plan on spending $1,500 on the trip. If you have to put $700 down deposit on a credit card, that cuts into the budget of what you wanted to do with the other money. The other thing that made me want to share this international driver's permit with you is just any record that you can get to give you freedom, to be able to give you opportunities, to be able to give you full access to excursions and activities in other places. I say get it. Again, the total was $31 and something for me to get it. No big deal. I have to renew it, I think, every year. Okay? I'll renew it every year just on the strength of the principle of the whole thing. Now, I'll tell you the experience. This was the fun part. So, I found my local AAA because the person that I started my AAA with 10 plus years ago, their office is probably about an hour from me. I got on Google and I looked up the closest office to me, and it was 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes from me. So I got in my car. I had already planned it out. I didn't have to call and make an appointment or anything like that. I got in the car and I went over there, and just was such bad weather that day. It was cold and rainy. But anyway, I got in the car and I went over there and I walked in and I asked the nice lady that just greeted me because I was the first one there. As a matter of fact, when I got there, I was the first person that they were opening the door for. And when they opened the door for me, she said, so pleasantly and so nice. And I mean, I was happy to be greeted so nicely. She said, "How may I help you this morning?" I said, "I'm here inquiring about," I called it an international driver's license, but it's an international driver permit. I said, "I'm looking for how to get the international driver permit." She said, "Okay, sure. I just need a copy of your ID." I told her I was a member. I gave her my member ID card for AAA. And she said, "Okay, the cost is, whatever the cost was, 30 some dollars." I said, "Okay." She said, "Okay, let me take your picture here." So she sat me down to take a picture, much like they do with a passport. And when she took my picture, she said, "Okay, if you want to sit over here in comfort, you can get some coffee, blah, blah, blah. No, no thanks. I'll just wait here," because I was just reading some of the little travel magazines and stuff they had in there. And then she said, "Well, it's going to take me a few moments to put everything together, to get everything signed up and shipped over." And she had to send a confirmation somewhere. She was dotting all her I's and crossing all her T's, getting my name correct. She had me to come over to verify that my name was spelled correctly, blah, 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 blah. And that was it. And then she said, "Okay, just a few more minutes." So I sat down, minding my own business. She was very quietly, just diligently working on it. Again, remained very professional. I like that. Something about people being professional just turns me on. And when I say turn me on, I'm talking about in just a happy way. It makes me happy to see that people are loving what they're doing to the point that they don't ruin your day in the midst of it. So I said, "Okay, I'll just sit over here." And she got done with all her paperwork and everything, and she gave me all the pamphlets that I need to show me what all I could do with it. Because in the booklet, I'm holding the booklet right now. It comes in a real nice little booklet, and I just took it and put it inside of my passport. I have like a little passport case or carrier or whatever you want to call it. I took it and I put it in there. So the front cover is what you see on the screen right now. And then when you open it up, it has like a little statement in it that talks about, that this permit is legitimate. And then it has like all the rules and all the regulations and all the statement from all the places that they have like authority and permission. And then it has this list of where these permits can be used. Let me see how many there really are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 6 times 40, so about 250 places, because I may be miscounting on some of it. So just to be safe, I'm going to say 250 places that it's accepted. So it has a list in there. So let's say you go to Aruba and they go, "Oh, okay, no, this is not accepted." You can say, "Well, here's my complete booklet from here. My permit number is there. The certified AAA logo is there." And boom, there's Aruba right there on the list. That's the end of that conversation. And then it has some more information about the permit, what law that says you can use it. Then it has an important notice, and then the back side opens up over to the right, kind of like a greeting card or whatever. It opens up to the right, and on the left side it has like all these little watermark type of legitimate things, and on the inside of the front back it has my name, it has my city jurisdiction, it has my state, it has that I'm from the U.S., it has the date that my birthday on it, it has the date that I got it, when it's going to expire. It has my signature where I sign right above my picture, much like when you get your passport. And then on the back it has an important notice and a disclaimer. And then it's like in a little passport booklet. So it's like including the cover and the back side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got 6 pages on the inside, and then a booklet that covers 3 to 4 pages that folds up. So I get excited about it for a couple of reasons. One, because if it's ever asked for and I'm traveling, I'll be traveling with it, just like with my passport, then I know that I have that on me. So again, if you are in the UK, the AA Association, the Automobile Association, can help you to obtain yours. If you are in the United States of America, your AAA access as a member can get you a copy. Now, one thing I don't know is if you can get the permit without being a member. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call AAA. Call AAA.
Calling AAA member.
Yes. So I'm calling AAA.
Thank you for calling AAA. If this is an emergency.
Okay, so that's the other number. So let me call the AAA and just ask let me just ask them, can you get the international driver permit? And let's see what they say, because you know what, that's
Thank
the
you
one
for calling
thing
the AAA Houston
I
Champions
did
office.
forget to ask
If you
them,
need emergency road service, please press 7
and
now.
I just want to see what they
For
say.
all other services, please listen carefully as our menu options have changed. For insurance and new membership information, press 1. For domestic,
I'll just press that.
for new membership, auto, home, and personal umbrella insurance, press 1. For
I'm
life,
just going to press it till I get a live person. That's
your call may be monitored
the best
for
thing
quality
to do,
assurance.
because that was something that I didn't ask for y'all, and I should have asked.
Hi, this is AAA. How may I help you?
Hi, can you obtain the international driver's permit if you are not a AAA member from you?
Yes, you may.
What is the cost for a non-member?
Oh, let me ask for you, okay?
Okay, thank you. So then the answer to the question is yes, you can obtain it without being a member. And let's just see if there's a difference in the price.
Thank you for holding. So yes, the international driver's permit is $20, and then we also do passport pictures in here for $15 plus tax.
Okay, so it's the same price as a member?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you so much. And you can do that in any state, doesn't matter where you live, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. So, you heard it from the professionals and not just from me. But I just think that it's a great addition for you to be able to have. In my phone, I have every tow truck person's number that I've made friends with. So just in case something happens with my AAA and I don't have any more and I need a good old quick tow, people that live in my neighborhood or whatever that work for AAA, they can come help me at, a cheaper cost. Or, when you have your AAA membership, like mine will give me 4 pickups or 4 services for the year. So if a battery goes out, a car tire breaks or flattens or whatever, jump start, whatever, accidents, never had one, but just in case. But after that 4, you're going to pay that $300 or whatever that mileage fee is for that tow truck. But I've made friends with all of the ones. So let me tell you, when I go in my phone and I look up AAA, I have my original, so I have my membership 800 number in case something happens and I need to call them to come get me. They've never let me down or been take too long to come get me in the dark or whatever, or my daughter or son. I have one of the tow companies in here. I have my original person that I met at a health fair 10 years ago in Houston. I signed up at a health fair because they had a sign up for $10 thing. And I was like, $10 for the year? Okay, sure. It's kind of like when I used to have Sirius radio in my car and it was $10 a year. I enjoyed it. But after that, I was like, I'm not paying no $100. I have her direct contact phone number. And then I have another towing company. And then I have the phone number to the location that I went to actually get my permit from. So in my phone, I have everything that I need for AAA. And like I say, as an adult, if you don't think you need it because you have some other kind of system that works for your car, wonderful. But if your kids are driving used cars and they're not in brand new cars that are reliable, you might want to think about getting AAA. I am absolutely an advocate for AAA, and now I'm even more an advocate for the travelers who can utilize this with AAA. Again, it was all about international driver's permits today. I told you where to get them, where they're accepted at, what it costs. I even called and got confirmation on the phone. So if this can help you, get you one. Have fun when you travel during your excursions and get your international driver permit. Bye.